Driving towards something is better than driving away from something. As I flip the script of a Walk Away Wednesday, we're going to talk about what are you walking towards today? Come on in. This is Free to Just Be, and I am Teresa Marie, the traveling ambassador of Chi, and I welcome you to my home little office. I am super excited that you're here. I hope I bring value and inspiration into your time that you spend with me. I know time is our greatest commodity. So thank you for spending some of it with me. I want to introduce my new office space. I'm so super excited. I wish I could pan the camera and show you the whole space. It's definitely my colors. I have behind me one of the first digital art pieces that my son made, these mandalas, and they are my colors. I know I've been in India before in some other life. I just love the deep golds and deep reds and oranges and yellows of India. And this mandala especially reminds me of how I have lived walking away from darkness, and then you get into the real circle of life, and as you're traveling, you go through all these tunnels and twists and turns, and thus the sacred geometry of the mandala. And then ultimately you're seeking to go all the way in to your center, which of course is your spark of God. And these mandalas remind me of that, and it just makes my heart sing every time I come in. The other side of across the way from my desk, I have my swimmer, which my son made when he was really young as an artist, and he hated the picture and he tossed it, and now it's been hanging in my office space for a good 10 plus years. And I look at her and I think of Dory, keep on swimming, right? Keep on going, keep on taking the journey. And then, of course, I have another piece of art from the same son that did the mandalas. It's kind of his version of the third eye. And then right next to me is my bestest friend. And that, of course, is my brother Jesus. And he's my everything. God's my everything. And so this is a very powerful space. It's like my control seat. It's where I come in the morning and I meditate and I read. And when I'm not outside in the food forest, or in the greenhouse area, this is where I'll be coming. And now the office space has really become mine. It's only taken me a year since I've been back home to get it together. So welcome in, welcome in. And tonight I want to talk to you about what we're walking towards today. Why would I flip the switch? Because I've been doing Walk Away Wednesday for some time now and just resurrected it again. And usually I would talk about the things that don't serve me anymore. And we talk about things that we have decided it was time to walk away from. Well, there's always in this dualistic dimension that we find ourselves here in the third dimension, there's always the opposite: good, bad, light, dark. Moving away means that we are moving towards something. And that's what I want to focus on today. Because I have learned, especially in the last couple of weeks, well, I don't know about you. Have any of you been in like a summer slump? And I'm not talking like in a bad place, just summer, you're just wide open, and the days just seem longer and you have more time to do things, and you just get into this summer rituals, right? And now summer's almost over. We're down to the last couple of weeks here, and um, you're noticing. you're noticing, like this morning when I walked the dogs at 5, it was 65 degrees. That's chilly in my world, right? And I have trees on my block. I'm going to take my phone with me the next time I walk the path and show you that we have trees already starting to turn yellow and orange. Our grapevines on our fence are beginning to turn colors, as are our raspberries. So there's this transition coming. And I kind of want to couple that with, we're coming to the end of summer and we recognize that we were kind of in that summer vibe. Summer vibe is more relaxed. It's, I don't know. And we often think of September, October, November, December, as we get into the last quarter of the year. We think of it as the closing out. And to me, that's not what it is. Autumn, to me, is always the time to set my sights on what's ahead. Where am I going in the next year, right? And it's like the time to make a jump start, to leap forward, to just like, we set the clocks back in summer and we're going to, no, it's spring ahead and fall back. So it's the reverse. Now, we're not going to use that as the example. So I like to get like a supercharge on my new year. I don't make my New Year's quote unquote resolutions or goals in January. I'm thinking about them now, right? And so that was what was kind of driving this conversation. What am I driving towards? And it really came to me today so clearly. I've been sharing over the summer how my major new way of being that I am uncomfortably getting comfortable with, and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and that is observing what the world does and do the opposite. And so, for example, when I stepped out of my matrix job to come home and work on my Free to Just Be mission, this podcast, my Release and Revive classes, writing more, getting more connected to my community. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is my purpose. My purpose, especially with Release and Revive, is to absolutely begin to let people know that chi is so much more than just energy. It is literally the Holy Spirit flowing in our bodies that we have forgotten about. And Release and Revive moving meditations begin to help us remember that we have always been a spark of God, and He said He was going to leave us the Holy Spirit. And we were always meant to be completely connected with it, feeling Him, hearing Him, and yes, eventually seeing and manifesting things like prophets did in the Old Testament, like Enoch, and requesting food and having the food brought to you by ravens. Who do you think that was? Resurrect Your Own Inquisition. Look it up. It's in the Bible. Anyway, so knowing that, I know what I'm driving towards. And I got that very, very clearly today. I'm going to share that here in just a moment. But I want to share what occurred today that really solidified for me. Now, see, I trust God and I believe in God. And I believe that He still speaks and He still prophesies and He still heals and He's still my everything. I believe all that. But every day I ask Him to help my unbelief. Because just like you, I am still journeying my way out of unconsciousness and walking away from the spider web flimsy, like I talked about how programming in itself reminds me of, what are those called? Oh my goodness, I've lost it. The things that you bend, pipe pipe cleaners. Yeah, pipe cleaners. That's what they are. They're metal. There's a piece of metal, and then there's all these little furry pieces, and you can bend it, and you can clean your bottles out, and you can make crafts with them, right? And I'm so glad this is a free to just be, because I am just free. I don't have to be. This is what being authentic and genuine and raw and vulnerable. There are folks that will not get before a camera. They will not share anything about their life. Look, we all have wisdom, young or old. We all have things to share, inspire, encourage others with. And there's this program that I'm talking about programs, but just a little side bend that says you have to look a certain way. You have to have certain backdrops. Now, I didn't have this backdrop made because I'm a podcaster. I had it made because I loved my son's art. And yes, as I began filming, I thought, that would be a great place to put my son's art, right? But there are those that believe if you don't have a perfect studio, you have to have perfect makeup and your hair done, and you have to look XYZ. And I am here to represent the regular you and me on the daily, running out to get the mail, not dressed to meet the public. I mean, most of us have just a real regular life, and we need to go back to being that genuine, authentic us without a mask, without comparing ourselves with every other Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? Comparing ourselves with, does my hair look as good as Joan down the block? It's ridiculous programming. And just like that pipe cleaner I was talking about, some of the main programs we walk away from them like the piece of metal, but then there's all these little furry attachments that we have to pick out one by one. All the little wiring, where I use the analogy of an octopus, and the matrix itself, or the darkness. You pick your name. Again, you can do the research if you want the quantum part of it, if you want the mystical part of it, if you want the energetic part of it, if you want the astrology or the numerology. There are names for those that are holding us captive, and we are slaves to this matrix system, like the big body of the octopus. And that system has all these legs or arms called programs. And each of those programs have an arm, the education arm, and that arm has all those suckers, that suck you in, right? And keep you attached. And we might think we have left a program, and then we recognize we have the piece of fuzz, or that we still are sucked on one part of that arm of the system. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where I've been. So I believe that God is guiding me and directing me. I know that for the first time in 40 years, the last probably 8 years, I have been very, very clear about I am to serve humanity, and I'm to use my communication gifts. And then 5 years, everything dovetailed. My moving meditation, my podcast, my love of humanity, um, my desire to see community unite, families come back together. It's all coming together. But then there's this old me. Now remember, my little avatar, that's the observer, and it's such a fun way to become your own observer. Just picture yourself. I'm dressed just like I am today, only I'm about 4 inches tall, and I hang out right here. And this is my girl, my higher self. She knows what's up. she hangs out a lot with Jesus, see? And so she's observing me as I am having my daily life. And she'll say things like, "Oh, you're doing that old program again." And now, since I've trained myself to listen to that, I think, "Oh, wow, I really am." And what program am I talking about today? Well, the program that says we're going to do things God's way. We're going to record a podcast when he says I'm going to record a podcast. Oh, but in order to get the likes and the subscribers, you have to be consistent. You have to do it at the same time. Now, that could work for some people, and it may be what God calls me to do. But the last 3.5 years, 4 years that I've been doing this podcast, that's not how it's worked for me. I walk outside. I take a shower. I do dishes. I'm working in the garden, and something he'll speak to me, and then I know that it's time to record. And now it's actually become easier. I can't believe I'm saying this, because at the beginning of summer I was so awkward with this camera and looking at myself in a phone. It's just so weird. But now, the freedom of that, I can be out in the garden and have my phone on the table and just go across the yard, pick up my phone, and boom, I am talking about whatever gardening project I'm doing, or whatever word that Mother Earth or God has put on my heart, and I share it. And boom, then I'm back doing what I'm doing in my garden. So there's been quite a shift that way. Now, the shift that there's some big things coming ahead, things that I've had prepared for weeks, and I've been holding back because, well, here comes the vulnerability part. Dang it. Oh, Humanityville. Do you understand what it's like to do a podcast called Free to Just Be? So that means I literally cannot fake it. I have to tell the truth. I have to, well, I always have to tell the truth anyway. I've always believed that honesty is the best policy, which is probably why I have such a hard time with the deep state, right? But it's, I just lost that train of thought, but, oh, I'm rambling. Maybe it's time to quit. No, I need to get this out. So going back to letting God lead me. And I was going to be vulnerable about something, but now I can't remember. See, I'm mentally blocking myself. I don't want to, all right, that's what it is. I was going to share that sometimes on this podcast, there are things I don't want to share. I don't want to admit. I'd rather keep them to myself. And God will say, no, you need to share this. And I'm like, really? Come on, man. It's embarrassing, or I can't believe all right, so it's one of those can't believe I'm still here moments, because I have been walking with my best friend right at my side for 41 years. And you would think that I would emphatically trust him by now. And he gave me this lesson in trust. Okay, so now we're going back. I'm tying in, observe what the world does and do the opposite. And the world tells you record at a certain time and do all these things, follow the algorithms. The trend is your friend. There's all these um, little sayings and ways that you're supposed to present yourself online to get the hits and to get the subscribers. And I don't want anything to do with it. I don't resonate with it. And at the same time, that's where all the traffic is. And what though the people that have made the rule books and made the guides, I got 1 million viewers and I'm going to teach you how to do it. Now, that is great. That is, you figure something out and hey, it's just like my Release and Revive class. I am not knocking innovation. And I'm not knocking the beauty of capitalism. When you have a service, you bring yourself forth and you share that service. You don't want to uh, go to the next life, holding on to all that you were gifted with and the abilities and the knowledge that you have. No, you share it so that legacy, so that you can further humanity. At least that's how I think. So that being said, I had this idea a couple of days ago. So a week ago, I made these videos with my students. I have, I actually have like 5 original students that have been with me 3.5, almost 4 years, in my Release and Revive class, and we've grown together, and they've become dear friends of mine, and they practice daily, and we come together and practice, and it's just such a beautiful thing when it's just my OGs. We barely have to talk. All we do is move energy because we all know the movements and we know each other. And so it's beautiful. And this is how community becomes connected and unified again. You see why I want to share it with everybody. So I thought I had made a mistake. I had held my camera up and I'm looking at the camera and I have my students behind me and I'm introducing them as my OG, my original gangster students, right? And then I thought I made a mistake. And I said, and they're going to tell you their experience in my class, and we'll be right back. And I said that real quick because I thought I had messed up something on my phone. Well, I had a 20-second clip. Now, track with me here. This is just amazing. Now, nobody told me that you have to. No, let me just tell you how it laid out first. So I thought that 20-minute little clip was trash. I thought I couldn't use it. And then we went on to make this interview with the 3 students, and it was about 10 or 11 minutes long, and it was great. So then yesterday, God says to me, post the video. And I said, well, I don't want to post the interview, and I want to put it on my website. And he's like, no, post that clip, that 20-second clip. And I'm like, what? Why? What? And I remember saying to my husband, I don't know why I'm posting this, but he told me to post it. So I posted it. And the caption I put with the post, because I'm like, well, it's like halfway. I said, for the full interview, go to, and I put my website link. Do you know that when I posted that, within the first hour, it had over 500 views? And I mentioned this to my husband, and he said, babe, you gave a hook. You hooked them in, you gave them interest, and now people are going to your website. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did that? No, God told me to do that. Now, those of you that have been in this advertising business and you've been on the internet, you know how to present yourself and know all that stuff that we just talked about. I didn't know any of that. And yet God told me to do something and I did it and it was effective. Now let me finish. So I did that yesterday and recognized this morning that it had over 500 views. And yesterday I updated my website and I invite you, go to free, the number 2, just the letter B, free to just be. You see it in my logo.com. That's my website. I just updated it and you can watch that interview yourself. Please go to my website, leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Teresa Marie, Ambassador of Chi. And I will leave that in the description at the end of the show, both my social media platforms. But let me finish telling you the lesson today. So not only that, this morning's class at the Housing Authority, I decided I was going to take my laptop and I was going to show the class that interview on my website so that they can see how to get on my website, because a lot of the students in that class are my age bracket. A lot of them are seniors and not very techy. And then I was going to speak with Candace, the beautiful resident coordinator there at the Housing Authority, and ask her if I can get some pictures taken with my class so I could put them on my website, and to see if I could do a short mini session at the next meeting, which is coming up on September 8th. And because I want to broaden my reach into the community of the Housing Authority, and more people come to that monthly meeting than do my class. So track with me. I get to the center and I walk in, and Candace is in the room that we meet. And I'm like, good morning. She's, oh, good morning. I don't mean to interrupt, but do you mind if I take a few pictures of you with the class so I can put them in the newsletter? And I'm thinking, you're kidding. That's what I was going to ask you. So we take the pictures, and then I show the video, and I ask her about the meeting, and she's very positive about it. And then the class goes on to discover that Rafaela, one of my OG students that's in the interview, happened to decide to come to that class this morning. So it was like a full circle of showing me, if you just relax and let me guide you, and we're going to do this. And I think that that's fantastic, because now I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read you the quotes to close this show out. The quote I opened with today, driving towards something is better than driving away from something, was by Dan Gemenhart. I hope I didn't massacre your name, sir. Thank you for that quote. And this next quote I want to share is by, James Baldwin. And he says, I conceive of my own life as a journey towards something I do not understand, which in the going towards makes me better. Oh my gosh, do I resonate with that? And don't you, as you are on this dance of transformation. And some days, I mean, we've talked about this so many times, that the destination is unknown, but we have to keep going, right? We don't know where we're going to end up. We're getting closer and closer to the highest self, to the self that Jesus has seen us from the very beginning. We're moving away those veils of unconsciousness. We're getting closer and closer to our spark of God. But we don't know how many times in a day we're going to get there, right? So we don't understand it, but we go forward. And take today as an example. I literally watched the synchronicities of the last 24 hours. I did what he said. I posted that video. It literally interested over 500 people who have gone to my website. I go, and again, it's confirmed with my student there. The pictures were taken. Everything is growing exponentially. And that brings me to why I need to go towards something today, instead of just, I have walked away from many things, and I'm going to walk away from many more, I am sure. But what I'm walking towards, it's just what James Baldwin said. When we go towards what we're supposed to do, it makes us better. When I share, release, and revive, I am floating. I am lit up like a Christmas tree. I am doing my purpose. I am living out my purpose. I am seeing manifest before me people's dance of transformation. I can see their transformation so clearly, and it gives me such joy to do that. It's such an honor and a privilege. It's an honor and a privilege to share my videos. And I know that more and more people are going to begin to comment and like and subscribe, because I am heading on that fire horse. Oh, and that's what I wanted to close with, was the fire horse. This was the final that he gave me today. What am I going towards? What am I to remember? You know, at the beginning of the year, we had a very big portals this year, many portals. And there was a very big one in March. And if you don't remember what it was or don't know what it is, Resurrect Inquisition and check it out for yourself. It was a very big portal in the very beginning of the year in March. And during that portal, I was given this mantra to say on a daily. And as the summer slump has come in, there it is. I had forgotten about this. This is a very significant year. Last year was the year of the snake. And for me, the snake represents going very slow, and they're very focused, and they're very centered on their prey. And that was how this rain shower had to come into focus and begin to have the confidence to fully step into what I'm doing now and the expansion of Free to Just Be in my mission. And what do I open to today as I'm shifting things around in my office? That very mantra. And I'm going to close with that, because this fire horse energy is coming so rapidly. I am galloping bareback. I'm holding on to the mane of the horse, and I am going towards seeing as many people in the next 2 months, September and October. My goal is to get as many people before Release and Revive, as many people listening to my podcast as I possibly can with God's help, so that we can bring in so much light that this darkness that has us captive, that has us in slavery, we will have enough light on this planet to help Archangel Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, who have been battling for us in the 4D, to wipe out this evil and usher in the golden age. So see, I have my marching orders, and here's my clothes and my orders that I was led to again. And it says this: I am. Remember, it always comes back to I am. The I am lives in us. We were created. We are part of him. I am fire horse energy. I am unstoppable passion. I hope I relayed the passion that I feel when I'm with my dear, dear fellow Release and Revivers. I am wild freedom. So that means I don't hold back anymore. I have been holding back the send button of a couple of emails, and I'm going to end that. It's ending tonight. And I am revolutionary courage. We need to be strong and courageous right now, especially if you are a light worker, if you are a pioneer, if you are bringing in new holistic ideas, if you are talking about energy, if you're talking about evolution, ascension, if you're talking about the quantum science, about the incredible shift that we're in, you have to have revolutionary courage. I don't wait. I act. I don't fear. I leap. I am the fire that transforms everything it touches. Is that not amazing? So God showed me, if you will just learn to get out of that control seat a little bit more, Teresa Marie, trust me, you can step out of that boat. You are my modern day Peter. You out there, Humanityville, are his modern day Peters. What are you walking towards tonight? Do you have a podcast in you? Do you have something that's been burning in you that you've wanted to do your whole life? Let the fire horse energy careen you in to a new way of being in 2027. Set the stage now. You can do it. Excuse me. You can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. No weapon formed against us will prosper. It is our time to bring massive light and massive love to this planet. How can you do it? How can you run towards that mission of yours? Ask him. He will show you. I just gave you proof, 24 hours of proof. So to hesitate when he says go, that's foolishness on my part, right? I love you, Humanityville. I know I was a bit scattered, but sometimes that's the way it comes out. You and I have massive people to reach, and we have wisdom, inspiration, gratitudes, whatever it is to share. Now's your time to shine. And I'm going to close with that mantra one more time. And I am praying for your greatest health, your most vibrant energy, and of course, your peace. Let's close with this mantra tonight. Feel it. Feel it in every part of you tonight. I am fire horse energy. I am unstoppable passion. I am wild freedom. I am revolutionary courage. I don't wait. I act. I don't fear. I leap. I am the fire that transforms everything it touches. Peace.